Have you ever fallen into the trap of challenging God's laws and then blaming Him when things go badly? Sammy was a young boy whose summer days were filled with times of walking through the woods, playing with friends, and fishing in the pond down the road. Fishing was by far his favorite thing to do. Just about every day in the summer, he would dig up some worms and head off pole in hand. This steamy hot day was like most others during Sammy's summer break. Waking early, he grabbed his pitchfork and worm pail and he walked into the woods to search for bait. Under one old stump, he hit the jackpot. Within 2 minutes, he had all the bait he needed. Reaching into his bait bucket, Sammy pulled out a big worm. He noticed a stinging in his hand, but filled with the excitement of the moment, he paid no attention. Within 30 seconds, Sammy had struck and pulled in a nice catfish. Wow, he thought, a fish in just the first minute. Then he put the catch on the stringer and hurried to rebait his hook and tried his luck again. Once again, he felt a stinging sensation in his hand as he threw his hook into the pond. He didn't have time to worry about it. Within just a few seconds, he had another huge fish. He fumbled the next time he baited his hook and his hand felt numb and stiff, but Sammy was too excited about catching another fish to give it much thought. At the end of only an hour, Sammy had caught 8 large fish. This was definitely the best day fishing ever. He was so proud of his accomplishment that even though he had plenty of time left, he threw this heavy stringer over his shoulder and he dashed down the road toward his home to show off his catch. The local sheriff happened to drive alongside Sammy and started to congratulate him on the catch of fish. With a smile and a victory whoop, Sammy held up the stringer and the sheriff gasped, parked his car and ran over to Sammy. His eyes hadn't deceived him. Sammy's arms were really red and swollen about twice their normal size. "Exactly where have you been and what bait did you use to catch all those fish?" the sheriff asked Sammy. "I found some special bait under an old stump," Sammy boasted. "The worms really wiggled good," and he said, holding up the bucket for inspection. After a close look at the worms, the sheriff went into fast forward. Putting the bucket in the car, he swooped up Sammy, made a U-turn on the dirt road, and sped off for the hospital. But Sammy was already dead. What the sheriff had discovered was that Sammy was fishing with baby rattlesnakes. Sammy's deadly bait brought him a good morning of fishing, but it cost him his life. Had Sammy stopped fishing after that first sting, he could have been saved. But Sammy wasn't. He was having too much fun. He didn't bother with the small voice of pain in his hand. Then as his hand grew numb, even that voice was silenced. Playing around with and not dealing with sin is like using baby rattlesnakes for bait. It may seem harmless, but all the while its venom is having serious ramifications. Sin will always take you further than you want to go, will keep you longer than you want to stay, and will cost you more than you want to pay. Developing our relationship with our shepherd, listening to and obeying His voice will safeguard us against the deceptions of sin. It will sensitize us to the first twinge of conviction and save us from untold future pain and regret.